Donald Trump is on an epic spending spree to build a separate paramilitary force, an occupying force of federal agents, all with weapons that are under his command. This, as a federal judge just today in San Francisco called out Donald Trump for creating effectively a federal police force with him as the chief. He's hiring 10,000 ICE agents, 3,000 border agents. He's lowering the age for the hiring process to 18. He's eliminating training. He's eliminating aspects of background checks. What could go wrong with an armed and dangerous group that's ill-trained, some of which who are barely over the age of 18, patrolling the streets of America under the direction of Donald Trump? I'm Michael Popok, combining some reporting here. The Guardian, Sam Levin just did an amazing article, an investigative article. And the way that they are recruiting is not just spending money, giving bonuses to hire these people. They're also using language of white supremacist movements, of the Nazi movement, to encourage people to apply. And they've gotten 100,000 applicants in the last 2 weeks. I'm Michael Popok. We have more here on Legal AF, 780,000 subscribers, all because of you. Take a minute and hit that free subscribe button. Let's talk about what's happening in plain sight that we're calling out. Donald Trump building a occupation force, a military force under his command. This is separate from the armed services, our military, which is supposed to be directed outward to protect the homeland and national security. Although Donald Trump has just been found, first time since 1878, a president has been found by a federal judge to have violated the Posse Comitatus Act for using the military inappropriately as a law enforcement tool on domestic soil against Americans. So that president, of course, is going to be bulking up and beefing up and creating a separate standalone force. It's not enough that he has the ability under certain limited circumstances to commandeer the National Guard. He wants domestic forces under his command and control. He wants a National Guard or a guerrilla unit that he can use at his will to flex his muscle. And he's building it with our taxpayer dollars. Now, for those that think, what could go wrong? I don't know who those people are, but for those that would think, what could go wrong, Popok, if he's going to lower the age from 23 or 21 to 18 for people to apply, minds not yet fully formed, as we know. Yes, they can go into the military, but now we're talking about them having daily contact with Americans and with people on domestic soil. He's also going to eliminate the training from 13 weeks, which sounds pretty skimpy to begin with, down to 8 weeks. 8 weeks and you're a Border Patrol agent. Terrific. What's going to be eliminated? All the training around the Constitution and the civil liberties and civil rights of people. That is the problem. Then you've got the command by Donald Trump's right hand, Stephen Miller, that there be 3,000 arrests a day. Now, think about who some of these 100,000 people who are applying are. Now that Donald Trump's in charge, he's effectively getting rid of background checks. He's lowering the age and lowering the training requirement. You know who's going to come in here, and that's the biggest fear. Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Jan Sixers. There's 1,600 people who were given a clean bill of health and let out the front door of a prison having attacked the Capitol. So that's not going to be a disqualifier. Being in a white supremacist group, being a Proud Boy or Oath Keeper, far from being a disqualifier, Trump is using the language of white supremacist groups and the Nazi culture to recruit. You'll see. Listen, this will put a chill down your spine. If you go on the Department of Homeland Security website and another advertising for them, they use the language of white supremacists. Of the Klan. Defend your culture. Defend your culture? That sounds a lot like white culture Klan talk. Secure the golden age. That sounds like Nazi ideology. Wait till you hear this one. Want to deport illegals with your absolute boys? Your bros? Is that Proud Boy language? And then they have a poster of Uncle Sam with his finger out, famously during World War I and World War II for recruiting purposes, saying, "Which way, American man?" which is very similar to a Nazi propaganda that was used at the time. Kristi, Noem, what's she doing as the Department of Homeland Security to rein in Donald Trump? Absolutely nothing. She's a rag doll. She's a crash test dummy. She'll do anything Donald Trump says and enable him for his worst instincts, which is to create a paramilitary force to scare the crap out of Americans. I mean, you have black mothers and fathers right now in the District of Columbia telling their children, law-abiding students, clean records, to stay off the streets because they're afraid they're going to be shot and killed by the combination law enforcement, National Guard, and Marines on the streets in D.C. They can't even live in their own neighborhoods. And Kristi, Noem, what else does she do? There were offices devoted to supervising the people that were being hired. And she's eliminated about 2/3 of the people in the investigative unit to investigate bad apples in the Department of Homeland Security, in ICE and Border Patrol. What could go wrong? Well, the last time there was a surge like this, into the 2000s and beyond, we have plenty of cases where people got into the program who were members of drug cartels, who committed murder, who committed sexual assault while wearing a federal badge, including kidnapping, conducting cartel business, and the rest. And you don't think, based on how Donald Trump, with his clarion call for these people, you don't think that these people are going to come from some of these extremist groups that are tracked by the Southern Poverty Center and other centers? Sure they are. There's no disqualifier for Donald Trump. Insurrectionist, you love America. Proud Boy, you love America. Oath Keeper, you love America. Get your absolute boys together and join. That's who's going to be on the front lines in Donald Trump's paramilitary police force. This is why Judge Breyer today, in his order, in which he found that Donald Trump violated the Posse Comitatus Act in California, why he said, what we're watching is a president illegally creating a federal police force. Some people might think that's a good idea. I saw a guy running around today in a supermarket near me, an older guy, I won't even mention the ethnic group, wearing a MAGA hat. I'm thinking, what are you watching that I'm not watching on television? Come over to Legal AF and the Midas Touch Network. Maybe you'll find out that everything's not all cracked up. It's not all as it's cracked up to be under the Trump administration. Some people might be thinking, that sounds like a good idea. We should have federal cops. Then you don't travel. Because if you go to other countries, you'll see the federales on the street with their weapons in tourist areas, right? And that's what we want to create in America. We have local law enforcement. We already have enough police. And if we don't have enough police, then give state funding. Then Donald Trump should take some of the money, the billions and billions that he cut from domestic programs that help Americans, take some of the money and give it to local law enforcement, right? He's all against defund the police after Black Lives Matter. Then fund the police. Give them better training. Give them more money, not just for big fancy equipment and SUVs and cyber trucks. Give it to them for personal soft skills, training on how to de-escalate. There's entire centers out there devoted to proper modern police technique that de-escalate and cuts down on violence and cuts down on civil rights abuse by police, up to and including killing. Train them, fund them, send the money down to states and let the states and the state troopers and the local police handle local law enforcement. Get the government and the Republican MAGA government not only out of my bedroom, not only out of my bathroom, but get them out of my local streets policing. That's what needs to happen. But Donald Trump doesn't want that, because like any good dictator, he wants a standing army, a paramilitary troop under his direct command he can use domestically to scare the crap out of people, to put the boogeyman under the bed and then chase after it through your bedroom, to make this a law and order election at the midterms. You know what? We'll take the law and order election, and we'll take the violation of civil liberties and civil and civil rights that are resulting from it. And we'll make this the healthcare election as Donald Trump goes after healthcare, as he goes after the nation's health, as he goes to try to destroy it by putting RFK Jr. in positions of authority where he shouldn't be. We'll make this about a referendum on Donald Trump at the midterms. So I want everybody to know about what Donald Trump's doing. There's going to be continued lawsuits over his power and authority to do exactly this. And we need judges like Judge Breyer to say, you've crossed the line. You have violated the Posse Comitatus Act. You have violated martial law or the Insurrection Act. Because that's how close we are. If we had a giant clock, we're at about 11:30 and we're about to head to midnight. And when the clock strikes midnight, we're looking at martial law, the suspension of the Constitution, the invocation of the Insurrection Act, led by these people, led by Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and other white supremacist groups in the Klan who are being led in to these recruitment efforts by Donald Trump. I'll cover it all right here. You're on Legal AF. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button. Continue to help us grow this pro-democracy channel. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popok.
I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.